Welcome to New Zealand Travel News, the segment where we go over the news that people looking to travel to or around New Zealand may care about. We are the team behind New Zealand's largest travel guide, NZPocketGuide.com. I am Robin, and this is Laura.
Thanks for that, Robin. We're going to kick this off with some of the latest numbers concerning the COVID-19 situation in New Zealand. So, starting off, 54% of the population is fully vaccinated. 27% of the population has one dose. And currently, there are 402 cases in the community, including cases in Auckland, Waikato, Bay of Plenty, and suspicion of cases in Northland. Northland, Auckland, and parts of Waikato are at alert level 3. The rest of New Zealand remains at alert level 2.
So as you can... Oh, sorry, there's something else.
Just one little bit extra. Travel to New Zealand is heavily restricted. In short, our borders are still closed to most travellers.
That's literally
which you guys already know about.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. There are some heavy restrictions currently for life in New Zealand, so therefore international travel is also heavily restricted. But on the southern end, they haven't had a case for over 400 days, which is pretty good. So life over there is a little easier.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to a piece of news from RNZ, which is Radio New Zealand, which was published on the 5th of October 2021, and it's entitled, PM Announces COVID-19 Vaccine Certificate. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says Cabinet has agreed to the use of vaccine certificates in New Zealand. New Zealand's vaccine passport is likely to be a digital COVID-19 vaccination certificate containing a QR code. More details will be shared in coming weeks, but for now the certificates will be used as a tool in high-risk settings, including large events, and the government is consulting on their use in places like hospitality. It will not be used for places like supermarkets or essential health services. It will be available either in digital form on smartphones or can be downloaded and printed out. They are likely to start being used in November.
So yeah, starting in November is basically when we start having a lot of the summer event, even if summer kicks in New Zealand, not in November but in December, but that doesn't really matter. So we start having quite a lot of events. We have festivals such as Rhythm and Vines, which is probably the most famous New Year festival in New Zealand, and they are likely to require people to have that certificate in order to enter the event. For international travelers that's going to come to New Zealand, there's not been too many announcements just yet in how they will be able to obtain that certificate for New Zealand, or if your certificate from home will work in New Zealand, but there is likely that we're going to get more announcement on that as we get closer to the date. As the press release says, it is likely that it's going to happen in around November, so we are looking to get some news about this in the next couple of weeks, and we will report about it on this channel for sure. So make sure to hit like and subscribe.
All right, we've got another piece from Skift, published on the October 3rd, 2021, and it's entitled, Air New Zealand mandates vaccines for international flyers in first for airlines. By being the first global carrier to officially mandate COVID-19 jabs for travellers, Air New Zealand have just set off a new wave of vaccine requirements for international travel. The move makes the Auckland-based carrier the first to set a date for a traveller vaccine mandate. In September, Qantas CEO Alan Joyce said the airline will require vaccines for international flyers likely to restart at the restart of long-haul flights, which is currently set for November. The Canadian government has also said it will mandate vaccines for travellers, both on flights and other modes of transportation, from sometime this fall. Being vaccinated against COVID-19 is the new reality of international travel, says Air New Zealand CEO Greg Foran in a statement. Mandating vaccination on our international flights will give both customers and employees the peace of mind that everyone on board meets the same health requirements as they do.
So although Air New Zealand is the first airline or the first major airline carrier to actually require or mandate to be vaccinated in order to fly with them, it is not going to be the last one. There is definitely going to be a big wave of airline carrier having those requirements. Plus, on top of that, there is going to be a lot of countries which are going to require to be fully vaccinated in order to get into the country. So the fact that the airline is requiring it really doesn't change so much, as it's probably going to be a requirement in order to come into the country. There are already many countries which have vaccine requirements, not just about COVID, but about many other diseases, in order to be able to enter the country itself. Every country has the right to decide what are the conditions and requirements in order to enter the country. So it is really not changing too much within the travel landscape, but it's a step forward that kind of shows this is what's going to become the new normal, the new way of traveling. After big events such as 9/11, there was crazy amount of announcement of new control and new check and new security measures when taking flight. I think that post-COVID we're going to see a kind of the same amount of waves of changes in the way we travel. So although post 9/11 we never traveled the same, post-COVID, we're never going to travel the same again, and it's going to change, and that's going to become a new normal, and we'll get acclimated to that. So yeah, that's probably just the first sign of a big wave announcement that's going to happen. And New Zealand is in majority owned by the New Zealand government, so there may be some work behind the scene right now in making sure that all the requirements are aligned between government policies and the companies.
All right, moving on to our final section of our travel news, which is the deal of the week. So, Marlborough self-guided wine tour by bike. Discover the many wineries of Marlborough on your own self-guided biking wine tour. You'll get quality equipment and all the recommendations, tips, and hints you need to make your own Marlborough wine adventure. All for only $50 New Zealand dollars for the whole day. Guided options start at only $100. Check out Explore Marlborough for more info.
Just saying, it's not sponsored whatsoever. It's just companies that we like that have a decent deal at the moment. So if you want to, try a lot of different wines, and we don't recommend driving. Don't think
better
we
to
should
do it by bike, yeah.
I don't know if we should recommend biking, but you go slower. You can see videos of us doing that on the channel. We really had a blast over there. And yeah, for $50 you basically get a good bike, and you get a map, and you get the lady that tells you where to go and everything like that, and you go from wineries to wineries and you have a blast. When budgeting for that tour, make sure that you budget yourself an extra $40 to $50 extra in order to be able to buy lunch in one of the wineries, because you are going to get the munchies. Well, that's true.
That is true.
All right, so that wraps up this new segment. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to reward all our hard work and to stay up to date with all our videos. Plus, check out nzpocketguide.com for thousands of tips, hidden gems, and much more.